Yo, what up? What it do? I figured there was enough here to go over that if I did it in the Free to Succeed episode this morning, it would basically be the whole episode, which I guess wouldn't be the end of the world. But I figured we would do it separately today. We got some new Doom Tower bosses that we're going to take a look at. I know I'm late to the party. Time zones and such. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to bring you breaking news here. I just want to talk about the new bosses with you. That's it. That's it. Apparently there's new gear sets too. Hell, Hades has a video up on it. I don't know where he got the information. But it's around somewhere. I just can't find it. So if you want to check out the new gear sets, I actually have to go watch that too. I haven't seen it yet. So go see it if you haven't yet. Maybe it says it somewhere in here. I haven't read this yet. We're going over this together for the first time. So anyway, let's check it out. We've got obviously up here the Grythion. He is just a boss. Doesn't look like he has any minions. It looks like it's just him. So we've got his A1 attacks one enemy, 100% chance of placing a fear. Okay. A2 Rock Smash transfers all debuffs from Grythion to each enemy, then attacks all enemies. Fills turn meter by 5% for each debuff transferred. I wonder if that means each debuff taken off of him or all the debuffs put on everyone. You know what I mean? Like if he's got defense down, attack down, and a poison, is he transferring 3? Or is he how many people are in a Doom Tower team? 5? Or is he transferring 15? That'll be, I guess it would have to be 3. He'd basically just get another turn, but they like giving these Doom Tower bosses turns. So I don't know. I guess that'll be interesting to see. You have to wonder what count. I guess it seems logical that it would be whatever comes off of him. But again, hard to know. A3 removes all buffs from all enemies, then attacks all enemies. The buff removal cannot be resisted. So what are you supposed to do to this dude? Increases damage by 10% for each buff removed. Fuck. So you can't buff him. You can't really debuff him. A4 attacks an enemy whenever their HP drops below 50%. Damn. This attack places a heal reduction. Bro, this dude's gonna be a pain in the ass. So he's gonna strip all your buffs, hit you harder because you had buffs. If anyone drops below 50%, he's gonna hit him again and put a heal reduction on him. That's nasty. So you definitely need cleansers. But preferably cleansers that don't buff much. A5 adds 1 Skybond buff to Grythion at the start of each turn. Also adds 1 Skybond buff to Grythion whenever an enemy's HP drops below 50%. Each Skybond buff increases Grythion's attack by 5%, crit rate by 3%, crit damage by 5%, speed by 2.5. Okay. We'll ignore shield, block damage, and unkillable buffs when Grythion has 10 or more Skybond buffs. I mean, you wouldn't bother with that anyway, though, because he's just going to strip them and hit you. And it can't be resisted. Can stack up to 20. Skybond buffs cannot be blocked or removed. So you got to get him out of there quick. Interesting. A6. Look at all these skills, dude. He's got 10 skills. A6. Whenever Grythion's turn meter is decreased, the turn meters of all enemies will be decreased by the same amount. Places a stun debuff for 1 turn on enemies with fully depleted turn meters. Whenever an enemy's turn meter is filled, Grythion's turn meter will be filled by the same amount. Turn meter increases are tracked and counted individually for each enemy. A7, immune to stun freeze. That's a given. That's a given. Almighty Tolerance decreases the damage taken from poison, so you can't do shit to him. Again, you wouldn't be debuffing much anyway, but poisons are pointless. Damage from skills that scale based on max HP will not exceed 10%. Great. All turn meter reduction effects are decreased by 50% when used against the boss. So your turn meter reduction of... Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting one. You just need a lot of... You need cleansers. You need pure healers that aren't healing with continuous heals. And then you need big damage. Like big ignore defense damage. You need to avoid buffs and debuffs, interestingly enough. That's going to be fun. That's going to be an interesting one to see people try to solve. That's a lot of stuff, dude. 2 pages of skills. That's wild. All right, next boss, we've got Iragoth. He is this one. Oh, he's big. He's a chunky boy. All right, let's move him here. You get the idea. Okay. A1 AoE places block cooldown skills for 1 turn. That's annoying. A2 AoE inflicts bonus damage for every turn remaining on all enemy skills cooldowns. And that's an interesting mechanic. So you want to bring champs that don't have long cooldowns, I guess. That's an interesting thing to have to think about. A3 AoE puts all enemy skills on cooldown. Okay. Fills his turn meter by 5% for every turn remaining on all enemy skills cooldowns. And it's on a 3-turn cooldown. A4 summons 3 minions at the start of the turn. 1 Eternal Priest and 2 Eternal Guardians, who we will be talking about as well. Can have a maximum of 3 minions in battle at any time. Places an Eternal Rage buff on himself for 2 turns if only 1 minion is summoned. Or no minions are summoned. The skill cannot be removed or blocked. Okay. And they're summoned, so block revive isn't going to do you any good here. The Eternal Rage buff increases his speed and causes him to ignore unkillable block damage shield and ignore 50% of the target's defense. Golly. Okay. At the start of the turn, this is A5. At the start of the turn, sacrifices Eternal Priest. Resets the cooldowns of his skills and grants an extra turn. But then... Okay. If there are no Eternal Priests on the team, sacrifices an Eternal Guard and heals by 15% of his max HP. This skill will be on a 4-turn cooldown at the start of the battle and will activate and go on cooldown every 5 turns, even if there are no Eternal Priest or Eternal Guards. Well, then what's the fucking point? A6, immune to all the stuff he's usually immune to. Not immune to cooldown increase effects. Interesting. Interesting. It's going to be nice to have a Warlord. Damage from skills that base... Yeah. Okay. And then we've got his minions, who look like... Here's the Eternal Guard. Well, no, don't do that. How about you resize the thing I had selected? Why don't we try that and see how we feel about that? There we go. And that one was the Eternal Guard. A1 AoE places a defense buff for 2 turns, a decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Also places a provoke for 1 turn on enemies under block cooldown skills. And then his A2 decreases the damage taken by allies from AoE attacks by 75%. That's a lot. That's what he looks like. Pretty cool looking, honestly. And then we've got the Eternal Priest. A1 block cooldown skills, of course. And then resets the cooldowns of all enemy skills When this champion is killed by an enemy. Jeez, dude. Alright. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I feel like aren't there some champs that have on their A1 like attacks one enemy, randomly reduces the cooldown of an ally's skill or something? Aren't there a couple champs that have something like that? They might be pretty handy in here. Because it seems like you're going to be fighting against cooldown reduction very regularly. And then I guess keeping him reset, keeping the boss on cooldown is going to be pretty big as well. Interesting. Those are some interesting mechanics. I'm kind of impressed with them there. I like they're thinking outside the box pretty well in ways I haven't seen a lot of other games do. So I'll give them props for that. I like that. We'll see. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what people come up with to solve this stuff. I'll have to play around with it too when it comes out. But that's it. I'm interested to know what you guys think. Is there one boss you're particularly interested in over the other? Do you think any of them are too strong? What would you think about the art, all that stuff? If I can, I probably won't make a video about the artifact sets if I'm just going to be honest with you. I feel like that's probably going to be well covered by the time I see it. I'm probably just going to go watch Hell Hades' video and see what we got coming with the new artifact sets. So that's it. That's what I'll be doing. I appreciate you guys watching. That's it. Later.